Doom Tower is one of the game modes that I have been neglecting inside of Raid Shadow Legends, but that is about to change today because I brought on a good friend, YST, and he's going to be teaching me everything that I need to know and everything that you need to know about Doom Tower, because as you can see, we have barely progressed. It's a little bit embarrassing to bring on a pro like this and to show him this account. But YST, thanks for coming through, bro. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing the guidance you have for me today.
No, I appreciate you having me on. I'd say this has been a long time coming since we spoke about this, but Doom Tower for me is my favorite area in the game to focus on. So yeah, hopefully we can get you loving it is the main idea for today.
So why Doom Tower? Like, I know why Arena is cool. I know what I get from that. I know what I get from Clan Boss, but why Doom Tower? Is it like super heavy on rewards or something, or what's your reason for loving it?
I'd say for one, it's one of the most innovative areas in the game in terms of boss mechanics. So every boss you face, you know, you can utilize a wide range of champions, right, to tackle each one. So from a fun factor, I guess that's one thing that I always enjoyed when the bosses first was released, or a new player trying to take them on for the first time. But I'd also say, like, it's one of the areas in the game where you do not require your energy resource to get free rewards. So as you see, as you're scrolling up, you're getting gems, you're getting charms, you're getting silver, energy, and when you get towards the top, you're getting void shards. And then also in the hard variation, you get 2 sacred shards as well every rotation. So
that's awesome. So by the end of today, I'll have 2 new sacred shards in my bag, right?
I wish it was that easy, but like honestly, like because there is enough time in each rotation once you optimize a proper team to, you know, get to the top of hard and finish normal in each rotation. So that's kind of like the end game goal, I would say. But even just normal, I did a free-to-play account for the HH challenge, right? And the first thing that I did, apart from Clan Boss, I feel like that's still #1 priority. Is I cleared the first 3 Doom Tower rotations in the first 3 months of playing the game on that free-to-play series.
Wow.
But the main reason I was like, this isn't taking my energy, but it's giving me resources back to power through that challenge. So I definitely feel it's very important, especially getting skill tomes and stuff so early on.
No, totally. And as I'm scrolling up, I'm just seeing all the good stuff. And it's a great point that you're making too, right? It's using no energy, but it's giving you rewards that you can progress your account with, specifically on your Hell Hades free-to-play. So that's really cool. All right, so I mean, obviously, I've gotten myself through just a couple of stages. I'll do it so I can get some of my advanced quests done, but I don't spend much time really building any strategy around it. So where should we start? Like, for you guiding me or anyone that's in a position like me, where do we start to actually see some progress?
I guess the first thing is just having a quick look at your champions and seeing what kind of synergy we could put together, because I'd say for the normal variation, and right now I can see you could probably clear this entire rotation.
Really?
With just what you have. I'd say Aman's the Magnificent is going to be your main point of, you know, he's going to carry you through the whole thing.
Oh, I love that.
Constant lockout with that A2, placing those sheep debuffs on, you know, those Sifis, those Mortu Macabs, those tedious champions. So I think Aman's the Magnificent is going to be magnificent, pun intended, for your account. You've got some really cool ones as well, because there's bosses such as the Nether Spider that requires you to have a cleanse champion, and you've got one of the best in the game in Bad Alcazar. So it's very good that you've got him all ranked up as well.
Yeah, well, not skilled up. I actually only have 2 of my champions completely skill tomed, one being Tyrant, one being Rathalos. Badel is probably going to be the next one that I do, to be honest. But actually, I do have some skill tomes, but I'm waiting to use them for the upcoming event for the Fusion. So I'm trying to be smart with my spend. But love Badel.
Which other legendary champions do you have? Do you have any more?
Yeah, I have a couple down here.
He's got the Pharaoh the Barkhorn, guys. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, I do.
So
I haven't done anything with them though, man.
So on hellhades.com, I actually do loads of the guides over there. So Pharaoh's one of the only recent champions, I'd say, that got a 5 out of 5, and he is so good. Like, I use him in my endgame Nightmare Hydra team, but in stuff like the Doom Tower as well, you're facing bosses such as the Eternal Dragon, right? Who's the final boss for this rotation. And if you cannot just like brute force or have high resistance, because he brings in the combination of decreased accuracy and increased resistance, and a passive to boost your resistance even more, and amplify your damage as well with that passive, he's going to be one of your absolute game changers for the Doom Tower as well to nullify all of the buffs that they're placing, because the higher you get in the floors, you're facing some buff heavy teams on those enemy waves.
Okay.
So he's gonna be a great one for sure.
Well, who knew? I did not know, so that's really great to hear. Yeah, we got obviously the login. We got Mother Sibel. We just picked up actually this week King and this Samson. I don't believe either one of them is anything too crazy. And we got the Rush card Unkillable, which is going to be something that I use most likely for Clan Boss, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Rush Guard to Tower is going to be great for Clan Boss. Put him in those. You haven't got the other block damage for. Do you have like the epic one? The Warcaster?
Oh, I don't even know. A Rush card? Is an epic version?
Yeah, so there's one called Warcaster. So very similar, but
is it Sacred Order?
I believe so. I've never actually used that guy before.
Let's take a look. I'll go to the index real quick.
He might be Bannerlords. There he is.
Oh, yeah, we don't have him.
Yeah. Yeah, so he basically brings in the block damage like a Rush Guard, but on only a 1-turn duration. So it kind of fills up that stun turn.
Got it.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
All right, so you have a look at the champs that I'm working with right here. Where do we start out? Do we just go to the tower and start putting things together?
Yeah, for sure. So when I'm first trying to beat the Doom Tower, the main thing that I would say to any players out there that doesn't have brute force, you probably will find yourself brute forcing the first few floors, I guess.
Okay.
Is crowd control. So your stuns, your provokes, your freezes, these kind of effects, so you're not taking any incoming damage. So if we just go into floor 11, we could probably form a team that would beat the whole Doom Tower outside of bosses.
Jeez. Yes. Okay.
I would say, yeah, Amon's the Magnificent, 100%.
Do you want him in a lead position? No, that's only for arena.
No, it's arena. I'd probably... just thinking, trying to snowball your effects. Maybe Apothecary could fit in there, maybe. I think the one thing that I'd maybe take out is the Geo, for the waves in particular. He could be very good for manipulating Terminator and stuff. I just feel like you've got enough damage from the Rathalos and the burns to be able to do that. Maybe just a bit... Even Battle Khazar, honestly, I think. Yeah,
Apothecary is kind of low in level. He's only at 50 for me, where Battle, I'm going to get a lot more from any healing part of it, at least.
Yeah, because especially if you've got Tyrant as your ally protector, he does have a healing effect on the A1 to kind of recoup him a little bit. But if you're taking a big smack and you don't want to constantly revive with your Ursula Demona, who was a top pick, by the way, up to take to 60, Bada will be very nice here just to keep you going.
Okay, yeah. Sure. I typically like this because one, you have all the stuns coming from Armands. You have the burn effect and the defense, reducing damage. You got your nuker that really drops more damage when being burned, and then you have a heal and a revive. So I do something similar to this when I'm just trying to power through stuff as well. And is this something that you want me to give a shot to?
Yeah, for sure. We can give that one a shot. I think this will be perfectly fine. I think one thing that you may be lacking is some AoE decreased defense in there, just to speed up the process.
Oh, okay. And do you do all this stuff on auto, or do you do it on manual? Or does that depend on how far you go?
I think it depends on... I usually just click auto feature, just let it just run. But if you see a fail, then that's where you just take over the manual control. Make sure you're stunning each wave and just saving your cooldowns. All right, well,
let's see how we're doing. I mean, it looks like we're not going to have too much of a problem. I think the issue does come in when I start getting to some of those boss battles where there's a little bit more thought process needed.
Yes, there's a lot of strategy and fundamentals that you need, but for this rotation, you're kind of set, to be fair.
So that's it. Video done. You set me up with a Should I let this just climb?
Yeah, wait, if we just get out of it very briefly, I think you'll be able to that's just the wave content in general, is just crowd control and damage.
Okay.
But if we just have a quick look at the bosses, I guess, for this rotation. So we've got the Griffin, who's one of my favorite bosses to face. And another reason that you want to farm the Doom Tower is the resources that they give you for the Forge. So the Griffin in particular is the Guardian one, which absorbs damage that you inflict whilst also healing in the process. But this boss is basically based around the mechanics of transferring debuffs that you place on the boss whilst also removing the buffs on your champions and dealing more damage to them. So there is like a phasing of timing your skills and not placing too many debuffs at one point and timing your block debuffs and stuff. And it's more about a race against time. How quickly can you take this down before the Sky Bonds ramp up, which is like a turn count limit.
Okay.
So he's a really cool one, but I think he's a bit self-explanatory. It's just about how quickly can you defeat him and blocking the debuffs when you can.
All right, that makes sense.
So we've got some other bosses. I can actually tell you which ones are in here because...
Yeah, I can't see anything until I get there, right?
So on stage 20, you'll be facing the Magma Dragon, which is basically all around provoke debuffs. So if you don't want to take those big AoE smacks, the Magma Dragon is all around provoke. He's a pretty easy one, just damage. And I would say Smite is going to be your best friend. So if you've got a Smite on any of your legendary champions as a blessing, that's really going to carry you as well.
What does Smite do for us?
So if we just head into the blessings real quick, or maybe like a Rathalos or something. So this will place like a smite debuff, right? And it inflicts like damage equal to 25% of the affected champion's max HP. So you'll see that if you place a smite onto one of these bosses that you may be struggling with, or even in the clan boss, people like to use this on their legendaries as well. You might not want duplicates because, you know, just one is enough in most teams. But that just brings down their health so significantly that those bosses feel like a breeze. Like I remember when I was first going through the Doom Tower years ago, when blessings wasn't a thing. This is an absolute game changer to face any kind of boss within the game, for sure.
Brimstone. I was told to put, I think it was this, there was one that I was told to put on like all my champions for, oh, here we go. And maybe it was Brimstone.
Yes, so just having, even if you could just bring Tyrant in, it doesn't have to be on absolutely everybody, but I tend to just like to have it on my highest star one because obviously you get more of a bonus the higher stars that you have, or a chance to place it.
Okay.
And you want it on champions that have accuracy as well, because apart from the 6-star, you will need accuracy to place this blessing. So Tyrant, perfect example, you got nice accuracy, so you're always going to be able to place that. So Tyrant, this is probably one of the best champions on your account because of that. That's very powerful.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best ones that I have. We got a bunch of red stars on him as well. We got a little lucky there, so he's definitely one of the strongest that I have. He tends to find himself in every party I do.
So if you go in your skills now for your Tyrant, and we go down to the blessing chance now for your Brimstone. So if we scroll all the way down,
right, he's getting this.
You can see you're getting a 60% chance of a protected one, which means that they cannot cleanse it off. So that's very powerful to have. But once you get that 6-star, then it just becomes, you don't even need accuracy to place that. Wow. So it's very powerful.
Yeah, that may not ever happen. I'm not sure. How hard is it to get that 6-star? A lot of luck, right?
Do you know what? I've only got like 2 on my account since it's released. So
see, there you go. There you go. I'm happy with the 5 for now. All right, so we still just do a little climbing, or what does this look like now? Is it just...
Yes, so straight after that, you will be facing the Nether Spider on floor 30. And the way that the Doom Tower is kind of set up is... it'll kind of alternate. So you have the first 4 bosses and it'll kind of go backwards in order and they just progressively get harder, right?
Okay.
Well, the Nether Spider is one of the, I'd say the most hardest bosses to wrap your head around, but once you understand the mechanics, it's pretty self-explanatory. So basically it's going to open up with a crap ton of poisons. It's going to go everywhere, which you can kind of combust on your champions as well. But because you've got a Bad Alcazar and a Mons, so basically when you're attacking the Spiderlings in this boss, he will actually be healing the boss as well in the process, which is actually nasty. So you want to bring in heal reduction, which I didn't see on your account. But what I would do to tackle that is bring in a Geomancer to reflect the burns and only focus the boss. Use a stun from a Mons to lock him off completely for the Spiderlings, so they're not counterattacking. And then you want to use your Bad Alcazar to cleanse off those poisons, so you're not dying consistently.
All right, YST, so help me build this team. Are we going to basically be... I mean, actually... It's very different. We don't have all the champions available to us here.
Yeah, it's like a take on the city of Sintranos, right? Where you kind of stuck down to certain things that you can do at any given time. Some of the most tedious ones, right, is the rare only rooms. You gotta be bringing out the specific champions for those ones. But in here, I think you'll be able to do this no problem. Just Rathalos, sorted.
Rathalos, Geo. This would be my call right here. So far, so good. Do you agree?
Yep.
I mean, we got to get the burn from Geo. We got to get a little bit of heal. Do we want Mother Sibel in here?
I'd probably just put Rector Drath in there, just in case. Maybe War Mother for a bit of decreased defense.
Rector Drath, okay. No Mother.
And War Mother, yeah. Not War Mother, what's it? I forgot her name now.
War Maiden?
The rail. War Maiden, there we go. Oh my god.
How do you forget her? All right, cool.
Oh god.
Let's give this one a go and see how she goes. No, I was calling the wrong names myself. It's all good. Oh, this doesn't look like it's going to be difficult at all.
Yeah, this won't. You won't have any problems with this. This is why it's like I always tell people that the second they start the game and you're going through the Doom Tower, try your best to get it done as soon as possible so you can catch up to some of those cool epic champions you can get.
That makes sense, especially if you're a free-to-play player. You don't have a whole ton of legendaries. You really do rely on some epics. So unlocking some of the solid ones. Like one of my first epics I picked up was Geomancer. I got really lucky on that pull, which helped me out pretty well.
He's going to be the biggest carry for the Doom Taffy for sure. There
All
we
right.
go.
So we got a couple of those. Nice. All right. And is this something we should replay or no?
No, that it's just a one-time thing. You get it done. Do you know once you actually finish the entire thing, which would take like 3 years, being completely honest.
Okay.
So once you finally get the final champion, you're like, yes, we got it. Then it just starts to turn into resources for like the forge and stuff.
Okay, which is fine too, which is also good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's build out. We were talking about this boss right here. What do we need to do to be successful? We're still, I'm assuming we're still here.
So this is where the mechanics comes in. So for this floor right now, you can probably use what you're using, but you do not want to use burns against this boss.
Okay, why?
So if we head into the boss guide on the right, so so attacks all enemies places to burn, trying to see exactly where it says it. So we keep going down. So instantly removes any HP burn debuffs placed on the magma dragon and replaces them with continuous heals. So he's actually going to get a heal value for the burns that you're placing on the boss, which we don't really want, right?
So we want to avoid burn, which is like my whole team is built on burn, so we got to be a little bit more fancy.
Yeah, so for here you could probably just go bit of damage. Rathalos will probably solo it on this stage, to be fair. Maybe just bring in some bad elves for some heals and an Ursula the Mourner for a revive in case you get a bad crit.
Do we throw a Kale in there?
You could do or like a High Katoon or Kale. Any of them's fine, yeah.
I'll go with the Kale just because he's a higher level. High Katoon's not really built out as good as she could be. So you're saying at this level it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm not burning him and I'm throwing in some power, we're good.
Yeah, you could probably beat even the hardest stage on normal with just Rathalos and Brimstone, to be fair.
Oh, that makes sense. That was nice. I like seeing progress, man. I like seeing free rewards. This is good stuff.
We love the free goodies.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you gotta get them. All right, cool.
You could even like after this boss, like I don't know, whenever you get some more keys and stuff, you could maybe test yourself in the last 5 days and just see how far can you get in the hard version as well, which would be a pretty cool test.
Oh, because I could do hard and normal at the same time. I don't have to beat normal. Oh, look at that! I didn't know that.
I can't remember if you have to clear normal first. I think maybe you can quickly check.
Yeah, I could totally quickly check. All right, so we'll go to hard.
Oh, yep, there we go. We can.
And I could go right on in here on hard. Let's see.
So what you could do is, because you're getting better rewards from this, just see how far you can get in the next 5 days with the champions you have, and then.
Got it. So tomorrow I'll try with the keys that I get back on my refresh. I'll try it. If I get smoked right away, I know I'm going back to normal. But I don't lose keys.
What I tend to do is push as far as I can in hard first at the start of the rotation.
Yeah.
I'll then move over to normal, clear the entire thing, and then in the last 2 weeks or so, I'll then move back to hard and then try and form some teams together to take down the floors.
That's a really great strategy. So there's your tip number 3. Start on hard, get as far as you can because you're getting the better rewards for it. And once you get stuck, then you go clear it on normal.
Because if you look on here, on the hard version, you can actually get like 5-star chickens. You're getting sacred shards, and it's just really good rewards the higher you get. Like the gem drops are bigger, the brews are bigger, the chickens are better, void shards in there. So you don't even have to get to like the highest floors to reap some really cool stuff for your account. No,
that makes total sense. A great tip right there. Honestly, that's one I would have never done. I would have just cleared normal, not even expecting that I could have tried hard. So great one right there. That's what I'll do starting tomorrow. I'll log in the morning. I'll be using my 10 keys over here to see how far I can go. And are the bosses the same on each of the boss stages here as on normal?
Yeah. It's the exact replication, just a way harder threshold. But one thing that I will say is on hellhades.com, we've got the Raid Shadow Legends stages tool, and what I do even till this day after 5 years playing this game is checking the stats, checking the speeds, checking the requirements of resistance that you need and stuff for the individual floors that you're facing. It just makes the gearing process so much easier, knowing how much stats that you need. Like for example, your Feral the Barkhorn that you have, right? Let's just say the Eternal Dragon on hard 120 has around, I think I've got it here for you. So he's going at 250 speed, and then his accuracy is between 350 and 450, meaning you need around 400 plus resistance to resist what they're doing to you, right?
Okay.
So what someone like Feral is doing, being one of the best examples in the entire game, is not only is he bringing down that accuracy to half, you're then getting increased resistance, and you're getting more resistance from a passive. So where you may have needed like 400 plus resistance to face that boss, you now only need around like 150 or so to
Wow.
get away with it, which is a massive jump in stats for any players progressing. So he's going to be someone, once you go into the hard version, you'll probably see a lot more Firo on your account for sure.
So in your opinion, he's one of the champions that should be a priority for me to start getting to 60 and start gearing properly, correct?
It's a very hard. I'm trying to be in context of the game because Firo is one of the best Hydra champions in the game, bar none for sure. But then you do have the luxury of an Ugo, who's an epic champion, who's also great. Brings in your AoE decreased defense, which you're currently lacking as well. And she only requires epic books over legendary tomes. So to be fair, Ugo could be a good block buff / decreased defense option for your account. Maybe a little bit better for now potentially. But because we need 3 Hydra teams, having 2 block buffs options isn't a bad thing because then you got 2 for 2 different teams, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It just really comes down to what you need a bit more at that time.
Yeah.
It's a really tough call. It's a tough call because you won't need the block buffs as much in dungeons. It's more of like a Doom Tower thing because you're facing these buff heavy champions and you want these decreased accuracies and stuff to alleviate the stats you need.
No, that makes total sense, and that's always the problem, right? For someone like myself, I'm not buying every pack for the tomes, right? For the legendary tomes, I do buy some, but I don't go crazy. So it's something worth noting. You made a great point. You know, if I'm talking about Farol, if I'm talking about Yugo has the epic books, much easier to get. We already have her skilled up. I haven't even geared her yet, and I got her skilled up. So it's something that we have to think about when we're putting those things together, because you can't gear all 800 champions inside of the game if you could even get them all. So great point.
Yeah, like
right there.
if you quickly look at Firo's passive, right? So the one that's locked out without the ascension. So if you see here, this is a very unique passive in the game. So if an ally is under 2 or more buffs, will increase their resistance by 50, which is great. If they're under 3 or more buffs, you get an accuracy boost. If they're under 4 or more buffs, every champion in your team will deal 20% more damage. He brings in 2 buffs himself, so that's covered. Bring in like, I don't know, an increased defense and something else. Everybody 20% more damage, which is huge.
That's huge. Pair that up with a Rathalos, who's already dropping great damage. You're killing it. No, that's great, and I love that it's a passive too. You just got to get him ascended a few times, and he's there ready to do that at all times. No, good point. I didn't even realize that. So great call out for sure. I think I have good guidance on how I'm going to be progressing in the Doom Tower, and I'm sure that a lot of people that watch are going to be in the same boat and be able to take those tips along with you. So I appreciate the help, man. I mean, I know that it wasn't anything that was like groundbreaking, but it was really some information that I just wasn't even thinking about, and I appreciate that. So I know that you say you've been playing Raid for 5 years. You've been on YouTube for a long time. I know you've mentioned hellhades.com a whole bunch of times as well. I do have a membership there, by the way, and but I struggle with their tools. It's I'm not that in depth as you guys are, but you also put out YouTube videos all the time. Why don't you let everyone know, in case they don't know you for some reason, what you do over on your channel so that they can come check you out.
Yeah, I mainly do PvE content is my place that I enjoy when I make content in this game. Over PvP. You know, trying to mainly Doom Tower stuff, champion guides is what I love to do, and occasional new stuff, fusion tips and tricks, I guess. Live streams is mainly where I do my arena for live arena. But I'd say mainly PvE is what my channel's been based around for years. So this is why I'm like a huge advocate for stuff like the clan boss or the Doom Tower, the areas that doesn't require energy. And I feel like the more that we can speak about it, the better, so people don't neglect it. And yeah, that's just what I love to do.
No, great point, man. I appreciate it. I'll be linking YST's channel in the description of the video, pinned comment as well. Make sure you go check him out. In addition, if you've never played Raid Shadow Legends, consider using my QR code or link in the description to download it today and get yourself Rector Drath, a free champion inside of the game that's going to get you the cheat code inside of Raid Shadow Legends. YST, thanks for coming through, man. This was fun. I got to have you back. Maybe next season, so you could see my progress and pat me on the shoulder and tell me I did a great job.
100%. And as I do, this is tradition. Before we wrap up, whenever I have a new collab with somebody else,
okay,
here we go. We've got to bring the Genzin mask out.
Oh man,
there we go. Oh, there we go. We made it onto Echo's channel.
He's done it. I love that, man. I love the tradition. Thanks so much for coming through, man. I appreciate it. I'm sure that everyone's enjoying the video. Let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you back here again tomorrow.